What if retirement wasn't some finish line you had to wait 40 years to cross? What if you could sprinkle these amazing mini retirements all throughout your life, starting like right now? Well, that's the radical promise of Tim Ferriss's game-changing book, The 4-Hour Workweek. So today, we're going to break down its core ideas into a blueprint for reclaiming your most valuable assets, your time and your life. Okay, let's dive right in. The book kicks off by drawing this really sharp line between two ways of thinking. First, you've got the old rich. These folks basically put their lives on hold, hoarding money for some distant retirement. They might have worked for themselves, sure, but they were still chained to their work. But then you have the new rich, and they're playing a totally different game. Their goal isn't just to be their own boss. It's to have systems and other people work for them. Their currency isn't just money, it's time and mobility. It's all about designing a lifestyle of total freedom and doing it now, not later. And this, right here, is the idea that just flips the whole script. This system of grinding away for 40 years just to enjoy the last little bit of your life, it's an outdated, broken model. Ferriss argues that reality is, well, negotiable. The real goal isn't just to pile up a massive bank account. It's about designing a lifestyle that gives you the freedom and the experiences that a millionaire enjoys, but doing it on your own terms. So the big question is, how do you actually do this? Well, the book gives us this super clear, actionable roadmap. It's called the DEAL framework, and it's basically a 4-step operating system for completely redesigning your life. So DEAL is an acronym, and it breaks down into 4 key stages. First up is D, for definition. This is all about getting crystal clear on what you really want and facing your fears head-on. Next is E for elimination, which means ruthlessly cutting out anything and everything that's not essential. Then comes A for automation, where you build systems for income that don't need you around all the time. And all of that leads to L, liberation, where you finally free yourself from being tied to any one location. All right, so let's dig into those first 2 absolutely crucial steps: definition and elimination. You see, before you can change anything on the outside, your work, your location, you've got to rewire what's happening on the inside. This part is all about clearing out the mental clutter and the busy work to make space for what's coming next. You know that feeling of being frozen by fear? To get past that, Ferriss gives us this amazing tool called fear setting. Instead of just having this vague anxiety, you get super specific. You write down the absolute worst case scenario. Then you think, okay, how could I prevent that? And if the worst did happen, how would you get back on your feet? What you almost always find is that the downside is actually pretty manageable. But the potential upside, man, that could be completely life-changing. Which brings us to this killer quote: be productive, not active. And this is the very heart of that next step: elimination. We're all conditioned to believe that being busy means we're being productive, right? We fill our days with stuff, answering emails, going to meetings, just moving things around. But all that activity doesn't mean you're making progress. The key is to focus only on the things that actually create meaningful results. And this idea is perfectly captured by what's known as the Pareto principle, or you might know it as the 80-20 rule. The concept is simple but powerful. 80% of your results typically come from just 20% of your efforts. The entire goal of the elimination phase is to figure out what that vital 20% is, the right tasks, the right clients, and then just mercilessly cut out the rest. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, it means going on what Ferriss calls a low-information diet. Seriously, tune out the constant noise from news and social media that doesn't actually help you reach your goals. It also means you batch your tasks. For example, check your email just twice a day at set times, instead of letting it interrupt you every 5 minutes. It's all about taking back control of your focus. Okay, so you've defined your goals. You've cut out all the junk. Now what? You need a new engine to power this new lifestyle. And that's where step 3, automation, comes in. This is all about building a business that works for you, not a business that is you. Ferriss has this great term for this kind of business: a muse. Now, this isn't just any old business. A muse is specifically designed from day one for automation. It usually involves selling a niche product. It could be digital or physical, where everything from fulfillment to customer service can be outsourced or put on autopilot. The whole point is to free you from the day-to-day grind. Now, I know that might sound a little intimidating, but the approach is actually incredibly low risk. And here's the genius part. You don't just build something and cross your fingers hoping people will buy it. No, you do the complete opposite. You test the demand first. You can run small, cheap online ads for a product that doesn't even exist yet and send people to a simple web page. If enough people click that buy button, boom, you've just proven there's a market for your idea. Only then do you actually invest in creating it. So after all that work, the defining, the eliminating, the automating, it all leads to this, the big, exhilarating payoff. Step 4, liberation. This is where you get to cash in all your hard work for true freedom of time and location. And hey, if you're in a 9-to-5 right now, this doesn't mean you have to storm into your boss's office and quit tomorrow. There's a really strategic way to make this transition. First, you just become incredible at your job, indispensable. Then you propose a little trial run, maybe 1 day a week working from home, and you prove that you're even more productive there. Then you just slowly expand that until eventually you're fully remote and untethered from the office. The second you break free from being tied to one location, you unlock this incredible superpower that the new rich use. It's called geo-arbitrage. The concept is super simple, really. You earn money in a strong currency like US dollars, but you live and spend it somewhere much, much cheaper. Your income doesn't just go further, its power is literally multiplied. Let's look at the numbers, because this is where it gets really wild. The average rent per month in San Francisco might be, $3,500? But in a place like Bali, Indonesia, you could find an amazing place for $700. All of a sudden, an income that has you just scraping by in a major city can mean you're living like royalty somewhere else. This is the financial engine that makes those mini retirements possible, taking months off at a time to just live and explore the world. But here's something that's really important to get. The whole point of this isn't just to escape work for the sake of it. Freedom is not the end goal. It's not the finish line. It's the starting line for a life that you actively design yourself. And let's be clear, this is not a recipe for being lazy. When you remove that 40-hour work week, you create this huge void. You have to fill that new space with something that actually matters to you. For Ferriss, this means dedicating time to learning new things, pursuing passions, and contributing to causes you really care about. Freedom is the tool, not the destination. And that kind of brings us full circle, back to the beginning. The 4-hour work week isn't a rigid rulebook. It's more of a dare to question everything you've been told about work and life. So we'll leave you with this question to think about. What's that one fear that's holding you back right now from taking the first step toward designing your ideal lifestyle?